Welcome along to the Blood Red channel. It's January, just 10 days left of the transfer window, and myself, Guy Clarke and Paul Gorst here to talk through the latest Liverpool rumours and whether they may or may not happen. Gorsty, welcome along. Thanks for joining me. And it's been a fairly quiet transfer window, but not sort of too different to what we expected from Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's any great surprises so far. Liverpool haven't really brought anyone in. Obviously, Takumi Minamino, we knew about him, didn't be coming in towards the middle of December, and we knew that was going to get wrapped up. And I think that was a deal which was very much an opportunistic one for Liverpool. I think they unearthed this release clause information that nobody else knew about and acted accordingly, really. I don't think if he'd have been a player on the market now at Red Bull Salzburg for 30 million plus, I don't think Liverpool would be looking too strongly at it. But I think the fact that he was available for such a cut price deal, Liverpool swooped and brought him in. But other than that, I think it was, as you were, Liverpool were never going to do any major business this month, and so it's proved with so much still to play for.
Doesn't stop the websites and the podcasts and everyone talking about potential transfers. And the big one today, after an interview with the BBC, is Kylian Mbappe not doing too much to bat away the flames of the fire, more adding a bit of fuel to them.
Yeah, whether he meant that or not, we're not sure, but he was asked about Liverpool, wasn't he, in an interview with the BBC, and he said Liverpool are great. And to be fair, he seemed to know stuff Liverpool-wise, didn't he? He said they just keep winning and fighting to the end, and what a great team they are, and that'll just fan the flames, won't it, for so much interest in him, and Liverpool would be foolish not to be interested in him. But we know that Jurgen Klopp has been asked about him before, and funnily enough, I was actually in that breakout room when Jurgen Klopp was asked by the journalist, who'll remain nameless. It wasn't myself, but someone did ask him about Kylian Mbappe interest, and in fairness, he started laughing before the question was even finished, and he said, what a great player, who wouldn't be interested in him? One of the stars of world football now, going to be one of the best players over the next 10 years, isn't he? But it comes with a massive caveat of playing for the richest club in the world, who don't need to sell him, and he's going to cost upwards of, you'd imagine, 200 million. So, unfortunately, I don't think Kylian Mbappe will be rocking up at Anfield this summer.
No, and it's one of those, obviously, last year in the Champions League, playing them in the group stage and Klopp hugging Mbappe after the match. It is one of those, the modern way it works, that people begin to put two and two together and are completely misjudged. But with Mbappe, I have to say, when I'd seen the interview, I thought, this is obviously a sit-down chat. You wonder how long it went on for and whether Kylian Mbappe knew that the Liverpool thing was going to come up or whatever. But he does seem to, as you say, with his quotes in the article itself and in the interview, he's very aware that it's the January transfer market, that he and Liverpool are going to get linked together. He does say I'm 100% a PSG player, and this wouldn't go down well if I answered your question the way you want me to. But it is there in the background, and it isn't going away.
No, I mean, I suppose the big thing for Liverpool now would be that it's not a ridiculous rumour. If you fancy, maybe the price is a little bit too much for Liverpool's bud, but I think Liverpool are the best team in the world now. I don't think too many would argue otherwise. So why wouldn't they be linked with the game's best players? I think 75 million for Virgil van Dijk was a huge statement from Liverpool 2 years ago. They haven't really come close to breaking it. Alisson was 10 million less than that, but you're talking at least double that now, aren't you, for someone of Kylian Mbappe's quality? I know Liverpool, when Mbappe was at Monaco and there was talk of him going to PSG, I know Liverpool privately wanted to be kept in the loop with the developments of what was happening there. So he's someone who they've known about for years, and they've kept tabs on him. So it'd be foolish to think that they haven't continued on keeping tabs on him and that their interest isn't necessarily there. I think it is. I just think the idea of paying upwards of 150 million for a player is probably beyond Liverpool's remit at this point.
Is this where the finances of the new Nike deal and things like this come into play? Because we know image rights are a massive thing with modern transfers, certainly the elite players. And both Xherdan Sancho, who also gets linked to Liverpool week after week, he and Kylian Mbappe, both obviously Nike clients themselves, and whether Liverpool have obviously saved some money from last summer, not really investing. Hopefully a Premier League title follows, the windfall with that, the exposure of a Nike deal, that Liverpool might be on the verge of being able to move into new financial circles with their transfer dealings.
Maybe. I mean, Liverpool apart from the 7.25 million for Minamino in January, Liverpool haven't spent any money for 18 months. The last player they brought in for money before Minamino was Alisson in July 2018. So Liverpool, maybe they've been saving money for the winter. I mean, I think personally a lot of that money has gone behind the scenes in all the contract renewals over the last 2 years. You look across the team, virtually everyone has had a new contract over the last 2 years. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Divock Origi, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Salah, Mane, Firmino. I think probably the only two who haven't are Van Dijk and Gini Wijnaldum, and obviously there's talk of that happening as well. So I think a lot of the money did go on that. So it was just Harvey Elliott and Sepp van den Berg last summer. But at some point, Liverpool are probably going to have to freshen it up, aren't they? Salah, Mane, Firmino, not getting any younger. They might need some kind of an injection of quality and youth somewhere down the line. But I can't see that being Kylian Mbappe. Will it be Xherdan Sancho? I think that's maybe a little bit more realistic. But even then, I think that's still an exorbitant transfer fee that will have to be weighed up considerably behind the scenes. The Nike deal, as you say, will be a big factor in that. Liverpool will be earning more than the £45 million a year they get off New Balance at the moment. But it's a case of how much influence and sway that has. But there's no denying it. What player wouldn't want to play for Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp at the moment? They seem to be streaking ahead as the best team in the world. So I think Liverpool are an attractive proposition. It's just a case of whether they've got the financial clout of a Man City or a PSG.
Yeah, it would seem different as well from what Klopp's done before in terms of buying a recognised sort of world's best right at that moment in that position. Van Dijk and Alisson, obviously great players, but probably not renowned as the greatest in their position at the time. But a guy who might then fit the mould of a player who could be developed under Jurgen Klopp from Germany, Timo Werner. He was linked an awful lot last year. That never happened. Signed a new deal at Leipzig just at the start of the new season. But crucially, like Minamino, has a release clause in there.
Yes, and you'd expect, obviously, with the good relations between RB Leipzig and Liverpool and Michael Edwards and Christoph Freund, is it? Possibly at RB Leipzig. No, it's not. It's not Christoph Freund, is it? He's Salzburg's. It's I can't quite think of the guy's name now. Red Bull Leipzig's.
I have to say, Sporting Director. Yeah, no, Sporting Director's names aren't something.
Ralph Rangnick.
The former Schalke manager.
Yes, that's him. Yeah. So there's a good relationship there, no question. Timo Werner, someone who's been linked with Liverpool virtually every other month for the past 2 years. I know Liverpool made it clear a while back that they didn't want to bring someone in to stunt Rhian Brewster's development. Hasn't quite worked out for him as he might have planned this summer, obviously, or this season rather. He's gone to Swansea, hasn't he? You spoke to him recently.
Yeah.
So maybe the landscape of that has changed. I think if Liverpool could get someone of his ilk at a fairly reasonable price in this day and age, then I think it'd be foolish not to take a long, hard look at that. It's a question of whether Werner would be coming in, accepting being on the bench every other week, and it's a tough task to break into that front three, isn't it? Because it works so well for Liverpool. So I think that'd be an issue for him. I think Liverpool, if they are looking to strengthen that forward line this summer, if the release clause isn't too much, I think that would be quite a sensible option. But I'm not sure where the lay of the land is at the moment on that one.
Yeah, it is an interesting idea because fans love to see new players arrive. But on the point you made on the contracts as well, the big money that was laid out for even still back to Van Dijk, Alisson and even Naby Keita to some extent, these transfers aren't just paid in a one lump sum way. They are continually sort of spread out during the players' contracts. So in many ways, Liverpool is still paying for the squad they have now, and to go and spend over £100 million on one player might not be realistic. But for Timo Werner, even if it's a £50 million transfer, for a player who's not going to be guaranteed to walk straight into the first 11, it's a big deal for Liverpool to contemplate.
It is. If you look at Liverpool bought Virgil van Dijk for £75 million 2 years ago, and then followed that up with £65 million on Alisson, £40 million on Fabinho, £52 on Keita, and then around about 12 or 13 on Shaqiri. Those prices get paid over the course of the contract. So if each of those players signs a 5-year deal, then Liverpool are still paying that, and they will be for the next couple of years. So that summer outlay of 2018 I think it was the biggest in Liverpool's history. Actually, I think that'll still be getting paid off for quite some time. So I can't quite see another summer of that ilk for a while yet, if we're honest. But I think Liverpool should be able to afford at least one marquee signing, if you like, a summer. And I think Werner could come in under that banner of it being fairly realistic. As I say, if they could get him for quite a sensible fee, and we're going to come on to Xherdan Shaqiri in a minute, I think that could be a goer.
Yeah, Shaqiri is the next port of call for us, because we've spoken about the incomings. Xherdan Shaqiri spoke with Ian Doyle last week about the possibility of Shaqiri moving on, perhaps, and we've an update on that today.
Yeah, so the info is that both Roma and Sevilla have made inquiries, both being turned away. They're both loan offers, and Liverpool have got no intention of sending them on loan for the remainder of the season. Obviously, Liverpool are still in the FA Cup and the Champions League, and going on to, looks like they're going to win the Premier League. So there's still a lot to play for Liverpool this season, and it's they just don't see letting Shaqiri go as a viable option. Being told that they'd privately look at an asking price of around about 25 million this summer. I think that could be more of a viable option. I think personally that will be one that Liverpool will take if it arrives. I can't really see him lasting beyond this season. Xherdan Shaqiri, he's been blighted by so many injuries this season and can't get into the team when he is fit because of how good the front three is. So I can see this being his last year at Liverpool, but I don't see him leaving on loan this month. But there have been inquiries. Yeah,
with obviously Brewster going out on loan and Minamino coming in. If Shaqiri were to leave, it would be a number short again in that forward region. But a loan deal wouldn't make sense for Liverpool, perhaps not at this moment in time, given those numbers. But a move, as you say, in the summer, then perhaps Liverpool already now beginning to look ahead towards the summer.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt they are, yeah. Liverpool will be looking ahead, and I think if they can get that asking price fee for Shaqiri, that'll be one that they'll take, and then look to reinvest it in a player of a similar ilk, someone who can play in a number of positions across that forward line, and maybe someone like Timo Werner is the option. We shall see, but I think Liverpool will take the offer if it arrives for Shaqiri. It's just a case of whether Roma and Sevilla are going to be interested in making a permanent deal this summer.
Final point before we go, just slightly away from Liverpool, but it does have a very much more than a passing interest for Liverpool. We've seen Liverpool operate so well in the transfer windows, and as we said, they're piecing ahead all of the time. Pep Guardiola's come out and said ahead of the summer that Manchester City will have money to spend and will look to overhaul his squad. We know David Silva will obviously be on his way. Aguero's perhaps coming towards the end, and Vincent Kompany's still not been replaced. It will be an interesting landscape, Premier League-wide, I suppose, in the summer. And Liverpool, hopefully at the time, defending champions. There'll be a lot of clubs wanting to come for them. Yeah,
definitely. I think no one more than Manchester City. I think Pep Guardiola, if we're being honest, if he finishes this season 20 points behind Liverpool, I think he'll be embarrassed. It's something he's not used to. Maybe he's used to losing out by a few points, certainly not by that kind of margin. That'll only intensify City's aims to strengthen hugely behind the scenes. We know that they can do that at the drop of a hat if they so wish. So no doubt they'll be looking at who to bring in this summer. They're losing Silva. Phil Foden, we believe, is going to be the one to come and take that mantle. But they could go and easily bring in a playmaker for £60 million and take Foden's spot in that squad and replace Silva. They can go and get another top-class centre-half for Kompany. So perhaps if they do go on and spend 200 million, shall we say, then Liverpool will be forced to go and do something not necessarily like for like, but certainly go out and bolster their own squad when it looks like they're going to be defending champions, and who knows where they'll land in the Champions League.
Well, that's it for us here on this episode of Transfer Talk on Blood Red. If you want more transfer news, head over to the Liverpool Echo website. The live blog's always full of transfer news over there, including the latest perhaps on Kylian Mbappe, whether or not that will happen. You can follow Paul on Twitter at PT Gorst if you so wish. But until next time, thanks for your company. It's bye for now.